expressed on the following program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership.
Arizona, welcome to Filthy Fridays on HardcoreChristianity.com. Welcome to the program. Casa Grande, Prescott, Tucson. Brother Mike back on the radio. Today's Bible study on Filthy Friday. Kevin Johnson is a pervert? You're kidding me. Oh no. Man, I hate doing this radio program. Don't call anybody and tell them the radio program's on, okay? This is an in-house program today. This one's too nasty to even let it out. Just keep it within the family today. Don't make that call. I'll make a couple of announcements. You don't make a call. This is Brother Mike, the counselor at the House of Healing in Central Phoenix. We're on 11th Street, just south of Indian School Road. This is my, 35th year or something like that of counseling here in Maricopa County. Amazing. Boy, that was a long stretch, 35 years. That's a lot. At the website, you can go there and see our services. Wednesday night, healing, teaching, and deliverance. Thursday night, individual, personal prayer for everyone who comes. Friday night, my teaching service for my radio listeners. Anything goes. Healing, teaching, deliverance. Plus, on the website, you can sign up for our Facebook page and read about some of the miracles at the House of Healing. You can sign up for our YouTube page. That's our teaching channel. It's got all my unusual and bizarre teaching services on it. You can sign up for a free seminar. We have one every month. And with the crash coming, the international banking system ready to take a dump, you may be getting your house ready to sell. If you do and you want reduced fees and commissions, go to page 1 on the website and hit the West USA Realty button and save some money and be a good steward of God's money. KJ, what? Unbelievable. Kevin Johnson. Wow, what a wonderful person he has been to the state of Arizona. Everybody knows who he is. Born in Sacramento in 1966, he was a 3-time All-Star for the Suns. He is one of only 3 players in the history of the league to average 20 points and 10 assists in an entire season. Did you know that? He won the Most Improved Player of the Year award in 1989. He won a gold medal for America in 1994. He's the only player in NBA history to have averaged at least 20 points and 10 assists and a .500 field goal percentage and 2 steals a game in a season. The only player in history. It happened in the 90-91 season. He's the record holder for minutes played in a finals game. He played 62 minutes in that game in 1993 that we lost in Chicago. He was here during the greatest period of sports in the history of the state of Arizona. What was it? The Barkley years. 92, 93, the greatest season any sports team has ever had in Arizona. 62 wins, made it to the finals, should have beaten the Bulls. Wow. Kevin Johnson was a mainstay here for years. He was an avid, outspoken, born-again Christian, supposedly. And he was very popular in the Valley of the Sun. What happened? Well, that 92-93 season, something weird happened, and something else was revealed here. Do you remember that? It was the all-out Pier 6 brawl with the New York Knicks. I was watching the game at the time. And I mean to tell you, KJ went nuts in that brawl, and he was cursing and swearing and screaming at people like a sailor drunk off the port bow. It was quite a revelation, but we all blew it off. I wasn't serving the Lord at the time back then, so I didn't care. But looking back on it, now I can see what happened, and I'm going to explain to you exactly how this thing works. Did you see the article in the paper that just came out just recently? A video, quote, a video recently emerged of Mandy Koba claiming to police that the former Phoenix Suns point guard had sexually abused her in the summer of 1995 when she was 16 years old. There have been calls for Johnson to stand down from his post from political rivals, per Ryan Lillis of the Sacramento Bee. The mayor released the following statement on Twitter outlining the reasons why he will not be running for re-election. As you know, KJ was from Sacramento, rose to fame here in Phoenix, and we loved him. The guy was great. What a great person he was. Wonderful guy. But come to find out all this time, KJ couldn't control his demons. He went back to Sacramento, his hometown. He ran for mayor. He won. He ran again. He won again. The guy was fantastic. Sacramento loves him. Phoenix loves him. Quote, Johnson claims he took the decision to leave, quote, after much thought and soul searching, stating that it was an incredibly difficult choice, but one that I feel confident about, he said. He continued, quote, as I'm sure there will be much speculation on this, let me proactively say that I am not leaving for another specific job or position. While there are many intriguing opportunities out there, I honestly don't know what's next for me. Well, I can tell him it's an incredible amount of humiliation and embarrassment, and it's another victory for unclean spirits over another public Christian. I'll explain to you exactly how that works in a minute. It says, quote, the police decided not to charge Johnson after they spoke to Koba 20 years ago, and he is currently not set to face any criminal charges in respect to the alleged incident. His accuser, now 36, told McKenna that Johnson paid her $230,000 in cash, never to speak of him again to anyone other than a priest, a therapist, or a lawyer. The 49-year-old politician said it was unfortunate these kinds of stories continue to surface. When I ran for mayor in 2008, I knew these were all going to be part of fair play. Politics is a game that throws out dirty things along the way, and you've got to take the hits on the chin, he said, quote unquote. In addition, it says a councilwoman there named Angelique Ashby is also going to now run for mayor for the post that Johnson has relinquished. Guess what happened? This was not the only incident. ESPN was about to air a documentary on what a great job Johnson did to keep the Sacramento Kings in Sacramento and how he was instrumental in getting them to build them a new stadium to keep the team. But in April 16, 2008, there was another investigation into KJ at St. Hope Sacramento High School. There were allegations that he had other victims. In this particular case, there were two girls. One of them was underage that filed a complaint that said he tried to sexually abuse them and made sexual advances toward them. What is going on here? How could somebody who's an outspoken Christian in the community possibly be a closet sexual pervert? Well, believe it or not, this happens all the time. It's not that unusual at all. I do radio shows on these kind of instances, off and on. I did several of them already this year. Megachurch pastors getting caught committing adultery, having affairs. You've seen the stories numerous times. You got Robert Lairdon, one of the great Christian book authors in the United States. He's gay. He got caught in a scandal. Jimmy Swaggart, Jim Baker. I mean, this thing goes on, and it never stops, and it's never going to stop. But what is the root of this thing? Well, I've been a counselor for 35 years now, and all I do now is counsel Christians on inner healing and deliverance. And I've had extensive experience with people like Kevin Johnson. I've had people who are outstanding individuals ministers, pastors, evangelists, businessmen come to see me for counseling. And of course, that's all done on the QT because all that stuff's kept confidential. And I've seen these people in person. And generally speaking, what happens is while they're young, they're either abused or they've gone through a period of trauma or they've gone through a period of incredible disappointment, and a spirit enters their body, an unclean spirit, and it's an unclean spirit of lust. And this spirit works with the person. The person doesn't know they have it, but the spirit uses the person's mind and body, and he attacks their soul and uses their emotions. And the spirit, believe it or not, is giving the person a benefit. The person usually has low self-esteem, low self-concept. They usually are trying to overcome a trauma or a bad experience. And this unclean spirit offers them a respite. He offers an opportunity for them to take a break. So he helps them develop a vice. And the person has this vice, but generally speaking, wants to keep it secret. That's why you have so many ministers when a scandal breaks out and people are sitting there going, what in the world's going on here? This kind of behavior the person was engaging in had been going on for months or years. And they'd been in the ministry for months or years while they're committing these sins. It happens all the time. I remember a few years ago, I used to attend a small prophetics church in Northwest Phoenix, and the pastor had been there literally for years, and boom, a scandal broke out. None of us knew anything about it. He had been having an affair with a woman in the church, and she was divorced and had 2 or 3 kids. And he was married. And that was the second marriage he lost over having an affair. He lost his first wife over committing adultery. What's causing this? It is unclean spirits that hide in the body and hyperventilate people's desires, and they hyperventilate their lustful desires, and they cause the person to think and feel and do things they don't want to think, feel, or do. I've seen hundreds of people with these demons completely healed. I was one of them years ago. I had terrible problems with lust. Once the unclean spirit was removed from my body, I never suffered from it again. You can be healed. 602-636-5800. If you have an unclean spirit, God wants to deliver you now.
The views expressed on the preceding program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership. This program has been sponsored by Michael W. Smith.